This morning, we have a special I-team investigation into the death of a woman on the Treasure Coast.
Yeah, Alysse Steed was a drug abuser, and at first glance, it looked like she died from an accidental overdose. But as I-team investigator Danielle DeRoss has learned, there is much more to this case. And Danielle, there are serious questions being raised about how she died.
Yeah, Matt and Sam, this investigation started with an email to the I-team from a grieving mother asking for our help. Alysse's mom is a nurse, and she told me that the investigation into her daughter's death was botched. The more that I looked into it, the more it seems the mom may be right.
I miss her a lot. It's hard not to know you're never going to see your child again,
Mary Beth Steed's daughter, Alysse, died in late April of 2023. That night, Mary Beth found Alysse's dead body in her bedroom in the Port St. Lucie home they shared. Mary Beth can be heard on police body camera footage, crying, screaming, demanding to know how her girl died.
She got strangled?
That's not what I said.
I'm just saying because they were fighting earlier.
Ma'am,
I think that's... I'm just saying, whatever. I don't see any drugs. There's got to be a needle or something.
Today, almost a year later, she still doesn't have answers. Port St. Lucie Police investigated, an autopsy was performed, and both concluded her daughter's death was an accidental overdose. Mary Beth does not believe that's what happened.
It can be obsessive, but it's like I'm the only one that can fight for her, and I feel like I owe her that much, to get the right answers for her.
Alysse was a grown woman, 34 years old with 3 kids. She was trying to get her life on track after struggles with substance abuse.
Alysse was just a beautiful soul. She was a very deep, artistic soul, very kind and trusting. She was just probably a little too trusting.
The night she died, she had been with the father of her children. The two had a troubled relationship. CBS 12 News is not identifying him because he has not been charged with a crime. But Mary Beth says she heard them arguing loudly earlier that night.
And all of a sudden I heard, get the off me. And so I just, ran to the door, and I'm like pounding on the door, and he wouldn't answer the door. She ended up coming into my room and showing me her neck. She comes in and says, "Do I have marks on my neck?" And I said, "Yes, you do. Call the police."
Alysse never called the police. Things seemed to calm down, and she eventually went back into the room where her boyfriend was waiting. She would come out in a body bag.
You both come back. That's when you two get into a fight?
Yeah, there was a very brief argument while we were cleaning.
Okay, and then you leave on foot and go to the Speedway by yourself.
I don't know why the lady's trying to say I was choking her.
That's the boyfriend admitting to police that they argued, but insisting he never touched her. He also claimed not to know where she got the drugs that were found in this toxicology report: cocaine, dimethylpentalone, a drug similar to ecstasy, and fentanyl. The medical examiner ruled Alysse's death an accidental overdose, citing acute fentanyl exposure. Mary Beth has a background in nursing and noticed that the amount of drugs in her daughter's system did not appear to be enough to kill. The I-team took that toxicology report to an independent expert, Dr. Daniel Buffington, a toxicologist, pharmacologist, and professor at the University of South Florida. He's also a law enforcement consultant in Tampa.
Would you tell the mother that she's right?
I would say that she's absolutely has an appropriate and correct concern with the outcome of the report.
Dr. Buffington's concerns are these. First, the cocaine in Alysse's system was a metabolite, meaning it could have been ingested days before her death. Next, the ecstasy-like drug was barely at a detectable level. And finally, fentanyl was present in her blood at 5.58 nanograms per milliliter. The doctor says fentanyl is typically lethal over 40 nanograms per milliliter. And he added that the amount of fentanyl in Alysse's system was even lower than the therapeutic levels that are used to treat pain at a hospital.
Have you ever seen a case where somebody died of fentanyl at that level?
No, not specifically as a direct cause.
It sounds like they're well below the lethal level.
That's correct. You could state that with confidence.
Would you have determined an overdose based on these values?
No, and in the course of our work, we're asked to do that routinely, and I would not have stated that on this particular case.
As a toxicologist, you would say there's something else going on here.
Correct. Our work in a case like this would be to state that these levels, while present, have meaning in terms of determining the presence in the system, but they would not be indicative or support the decision that they were the cause of death.
So if drugs didn't kill Alysse, what did? After poring over her daughter's case file, Mary Beth believes police ignored evidence that her daughter was strangled. The medical examiner noted injuries to Alysse's face and neck, including contusions and hemorrhages, injuries which are clear in the autopsy photos that the I-team reviewed, but are too graphic to show here. Police reports mention evidence of domestic violence, like Mary Beth hearing a struggle and Alysse yelling, "Get off me." And then there are these chilling text messages recovered from Alysse's phone, sent just hours before her body was found. "He choked me out like 6 times, she texted a friend. "Show this evidence to the police." Investigators had all of this evidence, but no charges were filed. Alysse's death was ruled an accidental overdose, and the case was closed.
Do you feel like the fact that that was not prosecuted sends a message about how the police viewed your daughter's life?
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. They judged her for just her mental health and past history of drug abuse, and just gave him a free pass.
What keeps you fighting this hard? What keeps you going?
What keeps me going? Well, I guess I want justice for her.
I shouldn't have had to do this. They should have been doing this. They should have investigated this. There's a lot of evidence there.
Mary Beth has been fighting for months to get police to reopen this investigation, but she was not getting anywhere until the I-team got involved. After we started asking questions, Port St. Lucie Police just sent us this statement, which reads in part, quote, "After a review of the family's concerns, the allegations of domestic violence will be documented under a separate investigative case number and reviewed with the state attorney's office." So we are following the progress of this new investigation closely. We'll bring you any new information as soon as we get it. We also want to make it clear that we reached out to the father of Alysse's children repeatedly for this story, and he has not responded.